Hello again, fellow YouTubers. Akasha here. Today I want to promote the Ron Paul 2012 Revolution in support of Dr. Ron Paul, of course, and his campaign for the presidency. I also want to discuss his infallible logic that other politicians and the mainstream media does not seem to have. But first, for those who do not know about Ron Paul, he is a 12-term congressman of Texas who's also a medical doctor and an Air Force veteran, who is one of the only few, if not the only politician who is truly for the people and who stands for truth, peace, and freedom. He's a libertarian who believes in the Constitution and limited government, more freedom, less control. He believes in free markets and honest money, ending the corrupt Federal Reserve, which is, by the way, if you don't know, a private institution who is, controlled by the elite bankers, and which got us in this financial disaster and economic crisis to begin with. So he wants to end the Fed, reinstate the gold standard, so we can completely restore the economy. He's against the wars and against things like the federal prohibition of drugs. He's against raising taxes. If you don't know him, look him up. Unlike others, his voting record has been consistent. He is an honest man that is true to himself and, most importantly, true to the people. He has been the only voice and the lone wolf in politics that is, for true liberty. The elite politicians and the mainstream media have been trying to discredit him for ages now. They've tried calling him crazy and radical and all kinds of things, when he is really the exact opposite of all that. Just recently, more people in the mainstream are starting to listen to him and, bring up some of his ideas, because he has made some major predictions that have came true, about the economy and the crisis we're in. But it's not enough, because the elite, the corrupt bankers and, politicians, they know he is a major threat. I mean, they know that he threatens their control and everything, so they'll do anything to discredit him and get him out. As some of you may know, the media has been ignoring him a lot and trying to discredit him, saying he can't win. That's, of course, all false. He can win, but it takes people like us to get the word out, He is running with the Republican Party. He is not really a Republican. He does have some traditional values, but his support is both from Republicans, from Democrats, independents, all kinds of people. There's a wide range, diverse group that support Ron Paul. And interestingly, all his campaign money comes from individual donations, whereas the major Democratic and Republican candidates get their money from major corporations and special interest groups. And the funny thing is, Ron Paul actually makes more money than them. He has broken the record with $6 million in one day, from small individual donations, from grassroots support. That is quite an accomplishment. You would think that major corporations supporting a regular Republican or Democratic candidate would have a lot more money, but no. I mean, he makes a lot of money. That means he has a lot of support out there. But the support he has is from people that are smart and intelligent and do their own research, because the mainstream media, they're not covering him. They're trying to ignore him and discredit him. So we do need to get the word out there. We need to spread the word and educate people. We need more help with doing this. We need to wake up the sheeple who are programmed and being fed lies by the TV. Ron Paul, he has a Leo sun, which is probably what gives him his strong spirit and determination and leadership skills. His moon is in Taurus, which is probably where his ideals for, financial and material well-being and security come from, and, probably his traditional values as well. His Mercury now is in Virgo, which of course gives him his sharp and critical mind and his infallible logic. I really like that Ron Paul has logic. I mean, he has logic and he uses it, and he is the only politician out there that does use his logic, you know. I remember when I first got interested in like philosophy and logic, started studying it, you know, when I was at my first college. I realized that the area which has the most flaws of logic and the most fallacies is politics. And this, of course, extends to the, you know, mainstream media as well, because they are, you know, bought and paid for by the elite and controlled by the elite. I mean, it's incredibly overwhelming how illogical these people are. And it's sad that normal people fall for this crap. Just look at some of the, you know, informal fallacies of logic that you see every day from these politicians and from the mainstream media. You got the ad hominem fallacy, which, you know, is used all the time. I mean, attempting to discredit the truth of someone's argument by attacking them, you know, personally, whether it be a character flaw or, you know, a belief they may have. But they totally ignore the argument. They just, you know, attack them. Puppet politicians and talking heads of the mainstream media do this every day. You have the exclusion of the middle fallacy, which gives you choice A or choice B. Ignoring choice C or choice D, this is apparent obviously with the two-party system we have, the, you know, either you're Democrat or Republican. There's no other choice, you know. There's also the red herring fallacy, which is used all the time also. It's used to distract people from the truth and from real issues by dangling a red herring in front of them, or, you know, by getting their attention on something else that doesn't matter and that's completely insignificant. You see it with the two-party system's focus on minor issues such as, you know, abortion or gay marriage, while they completely ignore and cover up the major issues that are threatening our entire society. And you see it with the mainstream media, how their focus is always on, you know, celebrities and just minor issues, you know, the Casey Anthony trial and all that. You see it all over the place in politics and media. You see the argument ad nauseum, especially promoted by the government and media, when they deny the truth, you know, deny someone's argument or deny the truth by repeating their falsehoods over and over and over and over and over until they ignore the whole issue completely, saying they're sick of it. You know, they've already discussed it extensively, so they're not going to talk about it anymore. So completely disregarding the truth again. You see argument verbosium a lot when it comes to passing new and unjust, unconstitutional laws, where an argument or, you know, a bill in this case is poorly presented and invalid, but because it is littered and clouded with significant and meaningless details, others just accept it rather than sit through all of the bullshit details to see that it's wrong. You know, they just pass it. They don't want to, you know, give it their time. 5,000 pages long, you know. You also find things like, you know, the fallacy of a single cause, which assumes there is only one cause of an outcome or a situation, when in truth there are multiple causes. Another big one is post hoc ergo propter hoc, which attributes a false cause to an outcome or situation. You know, X happens, then Y happens, therefore X caused Y. That is another big one, and not just in politics and media, but in a lot of the sciences today. And it's obviously false. You know, correlation does not imply causation. I could go on with all the fallacies. You know, there's so much that is so illogic going on in the mainstream media and politics all over, you know. And it's sad that the people don't know enough and aren't intelligent enough to call them out about it. You know, they just are hypnotized by television, you know, totally hypnotized, and just, it's sad. Like I said, Ron Paul is the only politician that has and uses his logic, okay? So if you're into, you know, liberty and freedom and peace and truth, then look into Ron Paul. Ron Paul is the only hope I have left for, politics. Like, if something happens to him or if he doesn't win, the whole country's screwed. I give up, There'll probably be riots in the streets because he does have a lot of supporters. And people are sick of this. People are sick of the control and all this. They want their freedom. They want their peace, So if you don't know about him, look him up. And the most important thing is to spread the word because, like I said, the mainstream media are ignoring him. And we need to do our part by, educating ourselves and educating others and spreading the word. So, thank you for listening. And Ron Paul, 2012 Revolution.